Yeah, that's good. So we are recording. And so when I saw that, John, I thought that was an excellent clip. And which brings me to the point that, you know, a lot of times when we're in the network, we think, oh, yeah, I mean, I'm okay. It's good. And all that sort of stuff. But we take for granted what we've got. And let me explain something to you. 32 years ago, when Trevor first got involved in the other big network, he introduced a dairy farmer, a friend of his, and that guy built a pretty big, very, very big network. And in actual fact, he's still in that network. Now, he's not doing anything, and he hasn't done anything in developing it for years and years and years. Now, Trevor caught up with him the other week, and anyway, he's been sponsored into this network now just to buy the product. And when Trevor was talking to him on the phone the other day, he said, you know, he said, what you told me was right way back 30 odd years ago. He said, if you go and build this business, they will continue to pay you long after you stop doing the work. He said, I have not done anything in this business for probably 12 years. And every month they still send me a check for the work I did 30 years ago. Right? Now you think about this, you got to think about this, because if somebody says to you, oh yeah, well, okay, how much money are you making? You can use the same answer this guy used to give people years ago. He said, I don't know. They haven't finished paying me for the work I've already done. Now you think about that. They haven't finished paying me for the work I've already done. Now, in your job, and I don't care what job you got, I guarantee you, you go to work, do the job on Friday or whatever day your payday is, they pay you for what you've done. You want another payday, you got to do more again next week. They're not going to pay you for last week's twice or 3 times or 4 times or 5 times or 20 times or 30 years times. That's the beauty of building a network. You get paid and paid and paid and paid and paid and paid and paid for the work you've already done. And the more work you do, the longer that payday is going to work out and the bigger that payday is going to work out. It's an amazing concept. So what I want to do now is I'm going to show this little clip that John shared with us. And again, John, thank you so much for doing that. It's a great little clip. And then I'm going to follow it up with a couple of more little videos as well. Because before I do this, it's important that we understand what it is we've actually got. Right? We've got this. Right? We've got this. So let me share this. Okay.
Hi, thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about the 40-40-40 plan. That's 40 hours a week, for 40 years of your life, for 40% of your income when you retire. See, we were all taught as kids to go to school, get a good education, go to college, get a great paying job with benefits, and live happily ever after, right? That's what we were all taught. Now, who were we taught this by? Our parents, our grandparents, and great-grandparents, so on and so forth, right? So the first thing we do is we get a job. We work for a little bit, we get a pay raise. Work for a little bit longer, get another pay raise. Work for a little bit longer, complain, right? Get a pay raise till one day we peak out, which means what? No more pay raises. See, some companies will try to get fancy and give you a title. Well, I don't know about you. Keep your title. Give me the money, right? Titles don't pay bills, money do. So at this point in time, when your income peaks out, actually it starts to drop. Why? Two reasons. Taxes and inflation. I don't care where you're at, it's going to catch you. In fact, we're going to put everybody, for the sake of this illustration, we're going to put everybody in the middle income tax bracket, right? We don't want to offend no one. So actually, this is what happens, and this is what some people do to try to supplement their income. They go out and get a second job. Some people go and get 2 or 3 jobs, right? Well, let me ask you a dumb question. If it didn't work the first time, what makes you think it's going to work the second time? Think about it, folks. Well, you just created more income. And we also know the more you make, the more they take. So can you get ahead working 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jobs? No, you cannot, right? Well, the insanity doesn't stop there, folks. No, it doesn't. Some of us even go back to school, right? Or correction, some of us go back in debt by going back to school to get a piece of paper known as that degree, right? To do what? To create more income. Now, again, the more you make, the more they take. So can you get ahead working this system? No, you cannot. So bottom line here, folks, let me show you something. This plus this plus this equals this. Why? Because U.S. government statistics indicate that by age 65, 98% of everybody working a job will be dead broke, or dependent on somebody else to take care of them. Only 2% majority business owners will be financially free. So which one will you be? Bottom line, folks, this system does not work. Start a home-based business. It's the greatest tax strategy today, bar none. So you don't have to like it, but it is what it is. See, there's 3 types of people out there. People who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and people who say, what happened? Folks, don't be another statistic. You deserve better. Hi, thanks.
Isn't that amazing? You deserve better. You know, this is the thing where what we don't understand is that, oh, hello, I've lost everything. Bear with me, guys. I don't know what I've done to the whole show right now, but anyway, here it is. We're back again, I think. That's what I'm doing wrong. There we go. Do that. That works. You deserve better. Like working 2 jobs, probably not going to make it, because your tax bracket here in Australia is not much different than the US. You're just going to pay more in tax. Whereas if you've got a home-based business, you do have tax advantages, right? You do have some tax advantages. Like my lovely speaker set. Well, it's before the end of the financial year. Funny about that, right? All that sort of stuff. If I didn't have a home-based business or a business of my own, you know, I would not be able to do that. So yeah. Hang on, just reading a note here. Yeah, that's right. I'll go through that a bit later, Mike. But, you know, when you look at what our parents told us and our teachers told us and our grandparents have told us, that system is busted. It is absolutely busted. They are taking the very best of the essence of your life to build their businesses. You're just cannon fodder. It's just how it is. So I had a bit of a look around after that. Oh, now give me a wave, please. Could everybody hear that okay? Yes or no? Yep, good. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to share another video with you. And this time it's a little bit different. It's telling us the same thing.
His books are thought-provoking.
Oh, that's a bit loud. Hang on a second. It's going down the same path, but it's from somebody who we already know and have heard of, or most of us have. So let's have a little bit of a look at this next video. Go through a little bit longer, not much, but again, have a listen to what he's saying.
And go against the grain of most other personal finance gurus. One of his most well-known concepts is the cash flow quadrant. He challenges your thinking around making active or passive income and forces you to think about whether you're going to be an employee, business owner, self-employed, or investor. Mentor me, Robert.
The diagram my rich dad showed me when I was a little boy was a diagram known as a cash flow quadrant. And the quadrant is made up of the 4 different people who make up the world of business. So my rich dad said, in the world of business, there's E's, and E's stand for employees. An employee, he says, you can always tell who they are by their core values. And what the employee, whether the president or the janitor of the company, will always say the same words. The words are, I'm looking for a safe, secure job with benefits. That's what makes them an employee, because their core values are security. The other one of the 4 is the S, or the small business owner or the self-employed. And again, their core values will cause them to use the same words, which are, if you want it done right, do it by yourself. S means they're also solo. They're generally one-person act, or they operate by themselves. On the right side of the quadrant are the B's. And when Rich Dad said the B stood for was big business, or like Bill Gates. Forbes defines big business as 500 employees or more. And their words are different. They say, I'm looking for a good system, a good network, and the smartest people I know to help run my business. So they're unlike the S. They don't want to run the company by themselves. They want smart people to run their companies for them. And then the 4th of the quadrant is the I, and I stands for investor. These are people who have money work hard for them. These people are people who have people work hard for them. And these are the people that work hard for the rich here. And the thing of note here is that most people who go to school are programmed for the E and the S side. For example, it was my poor dad who always said to me, son, go to school so you can get a nice, safe, secure job. And so my poor dad wanted me to be an employee. And since the time I was a kid, get a safe, secure job, steady paycheck, and benefits. Okay? I didn't want to be an employee. And I said, Mom and Dad, I want to be a rich man. And I fight with my dad. So my mother finally said, son, if you want to be rich, my mother was a registered nurse. She said, you want to be rich? The richest people I know are doctors. So my mom wanted me to come over here, be a specialist or a small business person. I said, there's only one problem with that, Mom. Doctors are really smart. And she says, you got a good point there. I'm not going to be a doctor. So I went to school. I have a Bachelor of Science degree. I can drive ships and I can fly planes. I flew for the Marine Corps. But I've never used any of that education because I wanted to become a business owner. So it was my rich dad who basically said to me, become a business owner and learn to be a professional investor. So one of the big differences here between these people is that it's called taxes. See, in 1943, the U.S., the federal government passed a law that said employees had to pay tax before they got paid. So when you go to when you get your paycheck from your employer, you open it up, and voila, the government's always taken a sizable chunk of it. And the harder you work and the more money you make, the more money they take from you. So that's why it's not that good to be an employee, because you can never get ahead, because the more you work, more money you make, the greater they pay in taxes. Now that the doctors and lawyers and attorneys, accountants were all laughing, saying, "Oh, these guys, they're getting paid a lot of taxes." So naturally, the federal government changed the laws again. So in 1986 in the U.S., a thing called the 86 Tax Reform Act, and it basically took a lot of the benefits away from people who are self-employed, small business, doctors, and lawyers. So today in America, unfortunately, these guys pay the highest percentage in taxes. It is tragic. And a lot of people think they're investors, but what they're really doing is they're just giving their money to people like mutual funds, companies, and all that. So they're investing, but they're not really investors. See, the big tax breaks are on this side. The laws are pretty tight here, but this area is very, very great. So by being a business owner on the right-hand side of the quadrant, you can make a lot more money and pay a smaller percentage of taxes legally. And the key word is legally. In the investor quadrant, it is possible to make millions of dollars and pay 0% taxes legally. And so it was my rich dad who said to me, he says, you know, Robert, if you really want to be rich, learn to build businesses. It made more sense to him to work hard to build a business, something you owned and something you could pass on for generation to generation to your kids. Whereas my poor dad said, work hard. But my rich dad said, why would you work hard for something you'll never own and you can get fired from right away? Again, that was a difference in values. So my rich dad suggested I learn how to be a business owner and learn how to be an investor. And that's one of the big differences. On this side of the quadrant, these people here work for security. They work for money also. On this side over here, their key value that they want is they want freedom. They don't want to have to work at a job anymore. They don't want to have to work for the rest of their lives. So one of the beauties of business for the 21st century is it allows people to make the transition from the E and the S side to the B side especially. And so you can become a big business owner. And the difference between an S and a B, small business and big business, is most of these guys can't quit working. Most small business owners, if they stop working for more than a month, the business collapses. You know, they don't really have a business. Most of these people own a job. So the beauty of business for the 21st century is it allows these people to make the transition to the B side so that you don't have to keep working hard for money, and the money can actually come in passively. Then once you have your business up and running, then I always recommend you then begin investing the excess cash, paying less and less in taxes. And that's the reason the rich are getting richer. For people who want to make the shift over to the B quadrant, which is what I would recommend for people, one of the beauties of a network marketing company is that you can do that for a very low price. And that's why I talk to people about considering network marketing. If you're to build a Microsoft, it would take you hundreds of millions of dollars. But a network marketing company allows you to start at a very low rate. They'll be patient with you. They'll take their time to transition over here. And the reason why that time is so important to most people is it takes time to change those values. And the most important thing is once you take the time, let's say it takes 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever time it takes, once you see the value or the core values of this side and this side, you're unstoppable. Today, I would never go back and get a job. Why should I? I'd rather just stay on this side, build companies, pay less taxes, and make more money. But the key is a person needs to change the values from my poor dad to the values of my rich dad. One of the challenges of being self-employed is that you're your own boss. You're the solo act. Like in the S quadrant, you're the individual. You do it on your own. Whereas in the B quadrant, you're a team player. You have to depend upon your team and count on your team. So the problem with being an S is that, let's say you're in a traffic accident, there goes your income. And let's say you get older and you haven't set enough money aside to retire on, that means you probably have to work for the rest of your life because you don't have anybody else to fall back on, not a team to count on. So one of the problems with the S, although most people say it's most satisfying of all work, it is a solo act and you're totally on your own. Personally, I'd rather be a member of a team if they can count on me and I can count on them.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
So that was Robert Kiyosaki giving a good breakdown from a different aspect of the 40-40-40. Doesn't matter which way you look at this, but those people who will actually go and put the effort in, learn how to do this, you will be paid over and over and over again for the work you do today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And the people that you sponsor, some will get in and stay in, some will get in and get out. It doesn't make any difference as long as you've got the fundamental processes down pat. You build a team, and it's just like what Jay Bennett was talking about on his thing. You know, it's 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, but you're looking for a team of people with a great attitude, with a lot of belief, and are prepared to put in some commitment, A, B, C. And Robert Kiyosaki said there, what you're looking for is smart people. Smart people. Because everybody that you personally sponsor is going to head up their own business. They're going to build their own networks. They're actually going to be the managers and the CEOs and all that sort of stuff within your whole structure. So you want smart people, right? Absolutely smart people is what you're looking for, guys. Right? And I remember listening years ago to a tape. Every time you show someone the plan, you're just giving them an IQ test, right? You're just going to give them an IQ test. Are they smart enough to figure this out or not? Oh, that looks like a pyramid. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't see any camels here. You know, the pyramids are in Egypt. Come on. You know, unbelievable. All we're doing is giving them an IQ test. And so when we go out there, we've got to understand that the work you're doing, it may be frustrating. You may be just spinning your wheels in a bit of sand or something right now. You may not be where you want to be. But I guarantee you this, by keeping on going and building and building and building and building, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years from now, they will still be paying you or your heirs and successors for the work you do this week. Now, what I want you to do, if you've got a job, and I'm serious about this, I want you to go to the boss tomorrow and ask him, look, if I was to take 5 years out, and I've been a good employee, I've been here for years, and I've done a lot of work, and I've produced a lot of whatevers and what I'd like you to do is, could you please pay me every week for the next 5 years, please? I won't be here, but just pay me, will you? What do you think the answer to that would be? Right? They would call the funny cart with that white jacket that keeps you nice and cozy, you know, that does up at the back. That's why most people can't see networking, because they've got this other mentality. They've got this security, get a good job, get the pension, right? Anybody under 40 years of age, or I think it's 45 actually, is never going to see a pension in this country, right? They're never ever going to see a pension. How does that make you feel, Mark Drake? Hey, poof, yeah. Okay, never ever going to see a pension. So let me dig out just one more little video. Where did this other video go? Got that one, got that one. This one here. Now, what this video does is, hang on a second, wait for it. Wait. Okay. What I want you to understand about the guy that you're going to watch now is, when it comes to understanding money, business, and systems, he has been an advisor to 30-something, I think it's 32 or 34 Fortune 500 companies. He's been a financial advisor to two administrations in the US government, two federal governments. He was a financial advisor to Russia when they decided when the wall crashed, the Iron Curtain came down, and to help them transition out of total communism into some sort of free enterprise communistic system. He is one of the world's greatest economists. And one of the things that he did say a long time ago, if you ask an economist a question, they'll say, well, look, on one hand, it could go like this, 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 and this. But on the other hand, this could happen. He said, what the world needs is a lot more one-handed economists. All right? And Paul Zane Pilzer is one of the leading economists and smartest men the world has ever seen in the world of finance. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a listen to Paul Zane Pilzer. I'm not sure where this was taken, but let's have a listen to him.
There is no other opportunity. And how many jobs offer someone starting out, not when they open business and they're old, the opportunity to make money today on what they did yesterday? Residual income, you tell people the truth about it, that's the only way to accumulate wealth. Another reason I like network marketing so much is distribution. As I've written out in most of my work, and all my work even back from the 80s explains that the largest value add to any economy is the person who distributes things, not the person who makes things. Distribution is 80% of the cost of any retail product. And so in the 80s and 90s, the people who became millionaires were Sam Walton, founder of FedExpress, Fred Smith, Ross Perot, distributed hardware and software computers. It wasn't the people who made those things. It was the people who distributed them, like Walmart, that made all the money. Why? Because 80% of the retail cost of an item today and back then is in its distribution cost. So you see right away, if you find a better way to lower the 20% manufacturing by 10%, you knock $2 off a $100 item. Find a way to lower the distribution cost, you make some serious money. Now that's changed. Starting around 2000, the opportunity to distribute things and make money went away. Walmart, they got real efficient. Amazon, but what happened? Distribution changed from physical distribution, taking a product from a factory, getting it to a consumer, to intellectual distribution. Intellectual distribution is my term for taking the information about the product and getting it to a consumer. Intellectual distribution is telling somebody about something that they didn't know before that will improve their life. Think about that. Intellectual distribution. The bottleneck in any economy, the bottleneck right now in the United States, where household savings is up to $68 trillion, it's enough to pay off the debt 5 times, and people aren't spending. They're not spending because they don't want to spend money. These are people who are giving a lot of money. These are not the 40 million out of work. These are the people with the nets. These are the people producing $15.5 trillion GDP. They're not spending money because they don't know what to spend it on. You know, they're not spending on flashy handbags anymore or things that don't have value. But there are so many products that would improve their children's education, that would improve the lives of their families, but they don't know the products exist. And as I talked about this afternoon, which is not what I'm here today, this night for, but someone else is the biggest thing that we need in this country is to do something about 65% overweight and obese population who have miserable lives just because of their health. Truth about making money, and there is no other opportunity. How many jobs
hang on, guys, sorry.
Starting out, not when they open business.
We're getting this back again, hang on.
To make money today on what
where is he going?
Residual income,
there he goes. So, isn't that interesting? Is this sort of forming some sort of pattern in your mind? Are you getting the hang of this? That maybe, just maybe, what we've got is so good. It is just so good. It's so hard to believe, even for us who are in it. You know, you are going to be, you build this, you go out and do this, you are going to make money. You are going to be paid over and over and over and over again. Yes, it's frustrating. You're going to be paid over and over and over again for your frustration. Yes, it's a bit tough when your best friend goes, you've got to be kidding. You want me to do what? You're going to get paid over and over and over again. And they are going to stick to their 40-year job, working 40 hours a week to end up on maybe 40% of what they struggled to live on today. And you're going to go out and learn how to do this. And you're going to take the time. And in doing all of this, we have the systems. We really, really, really do. All you've got to do is use it. It's, you know, don't complain because the garden's got weeds. You've got a shovel, you've got a pick, you've got a rake. Go and get rid of the weeds out of your garden. You've got the tools there to do it. Don't complain because you haven't got enough people in your group or enough money or enough whatever. You've got the tools. Make a list. Don't kid yourself. That is step one. And if you have not done step one, don't even think about step two. Right? Step one, write down a list of everybody you personally know. Step two, have a conversation with them, contact them, whether it's health or money. Step three, follow up. And that's where your money is. The fortune's in the follow-up. Step four, sponsor those people. Step five, teach them how to make a list, contact the people, right? Follow up, got to do the follow-up. The fortune's in the follow-up. Sponsor them, teach them. It's not a difficult process. It's not hard to learn, and it's a process we can learn as we go along. We can muck it up, mess it up. We can't break it, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. It's like anything else. It's practice, it's practice, it's practice, it's practice. You ever heard a kid starting to learn to play the violin? It's like, oh my God, I'll smash it, right? 6 months later, it's a bit better. 5 years later, they're playing on some stage. Practice, 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 practice. All right? Absolute practice, guys. Got to keep practicing. Now, let me just grab this. Oh no, I've got it already here. I'll share the screen again, and I'll go and grab this bit. Okay, small screens. There we go. All righty. Now, we've all seen this bit. All righty. Based on a transfer spend of sum of your food budget. You plus 2, them plus 2. 2 canisters of shakes and 2 packs of bars equals $250. Right? That's your bonus. But that's what you're going to get there is that's a total of 48 meals for the month. Right? And all they've bought is this. They've earned $250 if you do that within 60 days. Then if you sponsor 6 who sponsor 6, everybody just doing 100 BV, two lots of shakes, 2 packs of bars, you've just made $960 for the month. So you plus 6, them plus by 6, and these 6 people here went out and found 6 people each. Still doing 2 shakes and 2 bars. You're now earning $1,700 a month. And if we teach this 6 to go and find another 6, that's $10,000 a month, and they will pay you infinitum. They will pay you infinitum. It's amazing the way this system works. It really is. And this one's ridiculous. 6 by 6 by 6 by 6 by 6. That's 60 grand a month. Now, that's a pretty wild job. Okay, one cycle, which is 300 BV on one side, 600 on the other. That's the, if you were doing that every week, so you'd need quite a few people in your group, right? But that's the equivalent of having $100,000 in the bank. Now, my question to you is real simple. What do you think is easier? Find a spare $100,000 after tax dollars, or write down a list, contact the people, follow up, sponsor the people, teach them how to write a list, contact the people, follow up. What's easier? Right? This puts you over on the right side of Kiyosaki's quadrant. Puts you over here in the B's and the I's, not on the wrong side of the quadrant. Let's say 3 stars, 40 cycles. Now you're going to have your tongue hanging out, but it's obviously been able to be done because dozens and dozens, hundreds of people have done this. That's $124,000 a year, but that's the equivalent of having $4 million in the bank. So what you're doing by showing or contacting the people, write a list, contact the people, show the plan, follow up. What's happening is that apprenticeship you're doing is worth millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Now, I've just put this in here for tonight. I don't know what. So in the share sheet, I explain to people 600 BV on one side, 300 on the other, equals a 60 BV, $60 cycle. And we go through how this works. We go through if you sponsor 5, you sponsor 5. We go through the contacting. We show them how to hit these links. So as they've got the knowledge, the information, the inspiration, the whole lot. You have got the best system known to network marketing sitting in front of you. It's on your computer. It's on your phone. It's everywhere. Paul Zane Pilzer, the great economist, reckons that building a network is the best thing to do. He said the health and wellness networking industry, or the health and wellness industry, is the next $1 trillion industry, not billion, trillion with a T. Robert Kiyosaki says building a network is the best thing you can do. Start off as an E and an S, work your way up into a business owner and down into an investor. Now, I don't know about you, but none of the friends I've got have the credibility that Robert Kiyosaki has. None of my mates have written several best-selling on the New York bestsellers list. Kiyosaki has. Paul Zane Pilzer has. He's written numerous books, dozens. He's got published financial papers all over the world. None of my mates are that smart. He's got a bit more credibility than my mates. Right? Guys, we have got the best thing going. We really do. Right? You know it. You know it. You know, on Monday night, this Monday night coming, Trevor and Linda have asked me to do the Zoom meeting. And they've asked me to do a particular thing on that Zoom, which will explain to you a lot about perhaps yourself, but what's going on out there. And all I can say to you is this: don't listen to that little negative voice. Do not listen to it. It is the most destructive, murderous, mongrel thing in your entire life. It really is. It's designed to keep you safe. Well, that might have been okay back in the days of saber-toothed tigers and whatever else. But today, safe equals broke. Safe equals stressed out. Safe equals frustrated. Safe equals unaccomplished potential. You've all got potential, massive potential. And yet, that little voice in the back of your head when you go to step out, gives you such a hiding that you run back inside and lock the door. Because you want to be safe. Forget safe. There's no such thing. There really isn't. You're not safe hiding behind whatever those fears are. You're just stuck. Or what will people think of me? Nothing. They're not thinking about you. You know, your mates, everybody, they're not sitting at home tonight having a beer or whatever, going, well, I wonder what Tim's doing tonight. You know, he's in that pyramid-y thing where they got all this food stuffs and I chew food, I don't drink food. They're not sitting at home doing that rubbish. You think they are, but they're not. You know why? They're sitting in front of the idiot box becoming a bigger idiot because they're being trained to do it. So is it they go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock? Why? Because they've got to get up at 5:30 to get to work by 7:30 because the boss said they did. Somebody else is jerking their chain. You know, Mike rang this morning and I was not long out of bed, Mike. But I was out of bed, right? And I think that was about 8 o'clock. Or it might have been a bit after. I think it was about 8:15 or something. I got out of bed at 8:05. And the only reason I got out of bed at 8:05 this morning because I had to take Cyan to school, my little granddaughter. Why would I get out of bed that early? Like, it's ridiculous. It's bloody cold. Was anybody else cold in the morning when they got up? Mark, were you cold? Yeah. Mike, were you a bit cool this morning? Yeah. You see, guys, you got to learn that you can have choices. But you can't have choices being safe, listening to wah-wah. Wah-wah is the wrong one to listen to. Really is. So I'm going to unmute everybody right now. So bear with me for a second. Unmute all. Okay, we're all unmuted. Now, has anybody got any questions, theories, or rough ideas they want to discuss at the moment?
No, just a suggestion.
Yep.
There's a video on Team FSI site called Enough is Enough.
Yep.
It's a new one. That's fantastic.
It is.
It's what we're talking about tonight.
Yep, absolutely, Mark. You're right.
Yeah, under these success tab.
Yep. Success stories. Enough is enough. Peter Kelly and another girl did it. It's really good. Yep. Nobody else want to add to the comment section? Say anything? No?
You want me to comment on my message to you, Tim?
Yes, please, Mike. Yep. Okay, go on.
All right. So most of you know I've been up in here in Peterborough for the last 14 months, basically pretty much overseeing the installation of a sewer system. So we're digging up every street, putting in a pipe so every house can hook up to it so everyone's shit can run downhill, right? And it only occurred to me tonight as we were talking about this that pretty much, wouldn't it be good? See, I'm here working hard for a year or two, putting a connection into every house so that stuff can flow for the next 100 years, right? So wouldn't it be good if once I get this thing built, that every time everyone flushed their toilet, I got paid a little bit? So isn't it the same thing? See, everyone eats and everyone goes to the toilet.
Yeah. But Mike, that's absolutely spot on.
Yeah, because you're building a network. What I'm building here is they call it a collection network, right? So it's only in reverse.
Yeah.
Right. So we're in our case, we're supplying food for people that they got to eat.
That's right.
In this case, I'm building a system where it goes the other way, but the same principle applies. But I don't get paid. I get paid for my time being here. I get paid well. But when I leave this place, I'm not going to get paid again for every time everyone flushes.
Yeah.
When I build a network,
yeah,
I get paid for every time someone orders something to eat. Yeah?
Yeah, mate. Absolutely spot on, Mike. And you're right. I mean, what you're doing is all we're trying to do is tap into all these houses all over the country.
That's right.
Mike's tapped into all the houses in that town. but we're trying to tap into all our friends' houses, our mates' houses, their mates' houses, their mates' houses, because they've got to eat food. Now, I'll tell you this. I don't know about the other states, but we talk about in isogenics about food being toxic and all this sort of stuff. And, you know, it's hard to get away from the toxins and blah, blah, blah. Well, under the Fruit and Vegetable Security Act, regardless of whether a product is organic or not, for it to come into South Australia, it has to be sprayed with pesticides. You know, the fresh food people, everybody, right? But it has to be sprayed with pesticides.
That's right.
Isn't that interesting?
Keep the fruit fly out.
Yeah, keep the fruit fly out, right? Now, last time I looked, fruit fly didn't grow on cabbages or broccoli or carrots or anything else, but they spray the bloody lot. They spray everything. And we have a food supply that is clean. And the only reason people get sick is a buildup of toxins within the human cell. And the more normal food, oh no, I eat whole foods. Well, good luck to you. Go and poison yourself, right? But the bottom end of the day is that the more isogenics product we can get out there, the healthier our society will become, because the less toxins and build-up within the human cells will occur. Now, I personally think everybody at least needs the opportunity to understand that. Like, I was talking to a guy in Kalgoorlie today, and I got to take over a hydrogen unit for him, and he's getting out of trucking early next year. And I said to him, what are you going to do? He said, oh, I don't know. He said, I'll have a break for a while. And I said, well, you know, would a spare 100K a year come in handy for you? He said, well, what doing? And he knows another guy that I've sponsored in Kalgoorlie. And he said, is that what Steve's doing? And I said, well, yeah. But I said, he's only using, you know, one sort of product. I said, we've got all this other stuff, and, you know, it does this and it does that, and it gets rid of the toxins. And he said, holy moly. He said, don't worry about the money. He said, I'm happy to make the money. He said, but we've got to get healthy if we want to live long enough to enjoy it. I said, that's right. I said, well, have you got any mates over there that are, you know, getting a bit older and starting to slide backwards and don't like that idea? He said, bloody every one of them. And I said, good. I said, well, we need to sit down and have a chat. He said, send me some information. So I did. Right? And that's pretty cool. The other night, with the advent of Spain opening up, I got a bloke over there in Spain I know, rang him up actually, had a chat to him for quite a while, and his English is reasonable. My Spanish doesn't exist, so we sort of got the point across. Anyway, I sent him an email with a whole bunch of stuff on it, and I sent him 3 clips to his phone, and he's going along to a meeting in Spain on the 21st, and he's taking a bunch of his friends and people that work with him along to the meeting. If you don't ask, you won't get. And if you do ask, you've got a 50-50 chance that they'll say yes or no. And I can tell you that's a lot better than banking on the lottery.
Yeah.
It really is. All righty. So, guys, let me stop recording.